What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Daily Dose. As always, I'm your host, Dylan Davis. To my right, Matt McGinty. The Daily Dose is presented by the Painted Lines Network. So if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. Turn on notifications. Like this video. Nailed it that time, Gint. And you can follow the Painted Lines on Twitter at the Painted Lines. Pretty simple. If you want to follow myself or Matt McGinty on Twitter, our handles are right here for you guys to see at DylanJD98, at Matt_McGinty. On today's show of the Daily Dose, we have a lot to discuss, Gint. Sixers take down the Boston Celtics 117-109 last night at the Wells Fargo Center, improving to 10-5, first team in the Eastern Conference to hit the 10-win mark, move back and take control of first place in the East. The Flyers take on Boston as well. The Boston Bruins tonight in Boston. They sit currently at first place in the East, realigned East Division as it is this year for the NHL. And the Philadelphia Eagles get their guy, maybe? I don't know.
Who knows?
Came out of nowhere, I guess. So let's start there. Marquise has a couple comments for us. He says, hi, everyone. Marquise, what is going on? I see your comments. I appreciate them, and we will get to them soon. I'll get to the Sixers one soon. I'll start here with you. Eagles hired Nick Sirianni. That is correct. Offensive coordinator from the Indianapolis Colts, from Frank Reich's coaching tree. I'm not choked. I'm not shocked. Eagles hoping and banking that Nick is basically Frank Reich 2.0. He's Frank Reich light. Knowing Frank, he was OC that coach MVP Wentz. I'm just happy, and this is kind of the overall consensus on Eagles Twitter, right, Gint? I'm just happy that it wasn't the guy from New England, Josh McDaniels, that was hired. I'd rather go with a young first-year offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator as head coach, so I'm good with this Eagles hire. And Steven, thank you so much for tuning in again. It's almost obvious who Jeff Lurie thinks most heavily influenced the Super Bowl victory. Full Reich blessing. Maybe, Gint. I think we share the same opinions on why this move was made. So we're going to discuss that, and I'll throw that to you in a second. The only thing that I want to say for everyone, and I agree with Marquise, like, you can be happy about it. You hope it works. The only thing I'll say, if you love it, I'm confused. If you hate it, I'm confused. Nobody knows. Nobody knows about any coach. Players are different. Pissed off or being super, super excited about a coach that's new, it is confusing to me, especially one that, a lot of myself included, didn't know who he was 3 weeks ago. So, I'm happy about it. I think, I'm excited for something new. So let's get to it again. How do you feel about Nick Sirianni?
Yeah, to Marquise's point, talking about how it isn't Josh McDaniels, I think that's definitely a way to look at it. I don't think it's the total correct way to look at it. You don't want to be satisfied with the decision just because it's not the worst decision, if that makes any sense. But yeah. I think you and I are on the same standpoint that this move was made in honor of one particular person. He happens to wear number 11. So I think you and I are also in the same standpoint that we wanted a coach in here that wanted number 11 to be back there. So, we don't know if that's true. That's just total speculation.
Yeah.
All fingers are pointing towards it. So,
I think it screams fixing 11. That's my investment, my $100-some million man. Fix him, Nick. Please, I want to address this real quick. Steven says, why do I still feel like Howie floated McDaniels out there to make the city relieved and no matter who we picked, as long as it wasn't McDaniels? Look, man, that's been discussed a lot today since the hiring, news broke. And what I'll say is, guys, we talked about it on Party on Broad here at TPL and the Faithful Fanatics and everywhere all season long. Rumors continue to come out every week, every Sunday, for how many weeks? About Carson, about Doug, about everyone except Howie Roseman. And now the Josh McDaniels rumor gets leaked, the long interview process for him, blah, blah, blah. And then, the reporters go out and talk about what a dumpster fire he was in Denver, how he's an arrogant human being, how he's maybe not the best human being. So now, of course, no one's going to want that in their locker room. So I kind of agree with Steven. I agree with you again. We are on the same wavelength here. To me, this screams fixing Carson Wentz. And if you're Nick Sirianni, apparently he had a 2-day interview. He had 2 interviews. I'll bet you interview 1 started with, Frank Reich telling him a plan to fix Carson Wentz. He goes in, spills a little bit of his ideas, his plans to Jeffrey Lurie, to John Dorsey, to Howie Roseman. And then day 2 of the interview is more so of, tell us more about that plan, Nick. And here we are, because he is he's worked his way up the ranks. He started, I think he was like a lower division football player in college. Then he started like coaching over like 20 years or 16 years ago or whatever, like D3 to D2. And then I think it was Kansas City first. And before he was like the quality control coach at Kansas City. Then he was the quarterbacks coach. And then he was the wide receivers coach. Then he went to the Los Angeles Chargers, then the San Diego Chargers, did the same thing. He worked with Frank Reich there. And then he comes to Indianapolis and is offensive coordinator. So he's worked his way up the ranks, and now he's head coach with the Eagles. And one thing that I saw earlier was that coaching Philip Rivers, while his 1 year here with Philip in Indianapolis and then 2 in San Diego, were 3 of the top 5 most accurate years of Philip Rivers' long career. So apparently he is smart, highly intelligent. He's a great game planner. He's 39, so he's younger than Doug, obviously. He's one of the younger coaches. That's the route they're going. Players love playing for him. Apparently they love the guy, but he's also got something that Doug didn't as a player's coach, and that's a little bit of fire. That's the rumor out there on him. So what was the thing, Gint? Oh, Carson should go to Indy when Phillip's not there anymore. What do the Eagles do? Bring some Indy to Philadelphia for Carson.
Yeah, and I'm curious. I mean, it's never going to come out, but wondering if Carson had any say in the next head coach here. I highly doubt it, just because he hasn't had – it doesn't seem like this organization wants him to succeed. But this hire is starting to make me think, oh, maybe we do want to fix this and figure out how to make this work with this guy instead of trying to just throw all this money out the door. So,
yeah. So Marquise says fixing Wentz is Nick's number 1 job. Once he lands in Philly, has to build a relationship too. Absolutely. Mark, I'd say I agree with about 98% of this comment. There's one word that sticks out to me. I trust Lurie. Nah, I don't agree with that. All Lurie has done has been successful. Reed, Chip Kelly, Mark, I don't know where you're coming from with that. And Doug Peterson winning a Super Bowl, obviously. Wentz is on a prove-it 1-year deal. Well, Wentz isn't on a 1-year deal, so that's not true. But I don't trust Jeff Lurie. I hope I do. To me, this signing, I saw something earlier that John Dorsey worked with Nick Sirianni before somewhere. So this is Dorsey's fingerprints all over this hire, possibly. Let's see, Steven. There will now be a wall dedicated to Sirianni at Geno Steaks because the coach's last name ends in a vowel. Marquise, the name Nick always worked with Eagles, Nick Foles, who was Super Bowl MVP. Now Nick Sirianni from Frank Reich's tree. 10-6 for Mark. You're not being serious, right? Like Chip Kelly destroyed this team. It was a dumpster fire, bro. It was a dumpster fire. The offense looked good with Vic when he first came in. He brought the college game to the NFL for a little bit. People caught on to it. It didn't work. You can have your 10-6 seasons. What did we do with those 10-6 seasons? We won a playoff game? Don't believe so. Okay? So, come on, man. Frank, this is how you fix Carson Wentz. Nick, Howie, Frank told me this is how you fix Carson Wentz. Howie, works for me. Yeah, man, it's their investment. Jeffrey and Howie invested this money into Carson Wentz. That's why Doug Peterson was the person to go, not the guy they paid to be the franchise quarterback, right? Okay, what did we say last week about the coaching hire? Well, we didn't talk too much about it because they interviewed 99% of the possible candidates out there. But, we said this screams whoever the next coaching hire is going to be a Carson Wentz guy. People were like, oh, you don't know that. Yeah, I do. Why do you think they kept Carson Wentz and not Doug Peterson? So if you think they're going to bring someone in that would prefer Jalen Hurts, maybe like a Lincoln Riley, or they're going to bring someone in that doesn't know how to fix Carson Wentz, that's why Josh McDaniels was like questionable to me, because I liked his, winning culture coming over from New England. But he's not a quarterback guy. So he wouldn't fix Carson Wentz. That's why it was questionable to me. This screams fix Carson Wentz. Screams relationship with Frank Reich, the guy who had Carson Wentz at an MVP level. So we'll see. He's a two-time wide receivers coach, Gant. What was the rumor with our wide receivers the last 1 to 2 seasons, right? It just seems like they are coached to get from point A to point B. Like they're just like robots, get from point A to point B. It doesn't matter. Maybe that changes how the wide receiver, room is coached up. Maybe this screams Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase with the number 6 overall pick. I don't know. Abe says, young offensive-minded coach. I like this hire. I like it too. I don't know why. Like, I would just, if someone doesn't like it, just tell me why you don't like it. If you love it, we have a disconnect there because I don't know how you could love it. You are muted.
I understand. It took one comment came off. I was like, wait, my mic's not on. Yeah, I mean, me and you are on the same standpoint. I just hope to God this works because I don't want to just sit through a couple of years of absolute garbage, but we'll see.
The contract hasn't come out. The years, the money, none of it's come out yet for the Sirianni hire. I don't even know what to think, dude. So, like, what's the plan here? Is the plan, okay, year 1, fix Carson Wentz. Year 2, let's roll. Or, like, Jeffrey's clearly in rebuild mode. Doug wanted to win now. Lori thinks they have to retool a little bit. How long is the retool process? What is Sirianni here for? Is he here for the long term? Do they actually see a young offensive-minded guy like, I'm not saying he's going to be as good, okay? Don't come for me. But like LaFleur, like McVay, these young offensive-minded coaches, is that the plan? Or is it just a guy that could possibly fix Carson Wentz right now, and then we'll see in 2 years, 3 years from now? I have no idea. But it's new. It's exciting. It's someone else calling the plays. It's a new playbook. It's a new scheme. So, who knows, man?
Yeah, Abe has a really good comment. Yeah. I think
a lot of people don't like it because it's not a big name or Eric Bieniemy. Sirianni fits the mold of what we need. Don't know much about him as a person, but he fits what we need. I 100% agree. I think the rumor out there also, like I told you before again, is that Bieniemy kind of took his name out of the pool.
Really?
Like it wasn't the Eagles not wanting to go after him. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to leave Patrick Mahomes either. Makes my heart free.
Steven, here's what doesn't make sense to me. If Carson Wentz was such a prick, why didn't a single word leak out about this in 2016, 2017? How about 2018? How about most of 2019 outside of a Josina Anderson report?
Winning cures all.
It's it is true, dude. But here's the thing. And let's segue here. Because I don't think there's much more we could say. If you guys want to come back to it, keep commenting, and we'll come back to the Eagles coaching hire. It's exciting. It's new. We'll see what happens. Got to wait a little while to see how it plays out. But winning, we would like winning to cure everything, except here in Philadelphia, even if you're winning, you got to be playing great and win, it seems like. So let's switch gears here to the Philadelphia 76ers. And one man that is playing great, and probably the best athlete we have in Philadelphia right now in Joel Embiid. Thoughts?
Yeah, probably, right?
Thoughts?
I mean, I don't think
I saw a tweet out there earlier, and I was like, yeah.
I don't even know who second would be. Second, Carter Hart?
Then that's the idea, right?
Harper.
Yeah. Harper, Hart, Embiid. It was Carson once upon a time. Not anymore. Was Ben Simmons.
Michael Franco once upon a time, too.
Oh, man. But, yeah, all right, let's get into it. Abe, start us off. Start the campaign. Daily dose. Joel Embiid for MVP campaign. And we'll have an interesting conversation after we break down this game because it was fun to talk about with you before. But the Sixers take down the Boston Celtics in the first meaningful game since getting swept by them in the bubble, 117-109 last night. It was an exciting, emotional, fun game from start to finish. Like there was no slow start, slow in the middle, sloppy at the end. It was fun from start, tip ball to the final buzzer. Okay. It was in my opinion, this was a great win for the Sixers. I don't want to hear they didn't have Jason Tatum. I know they didn't have Jason Tatum, but I still think it was a great win for the 76ers last night. Thoughts on that, Kim?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, anytime you could beat Boston, regardless of personnel, it's going to be a good win. I mean, Jason Tatum is really good, don't get me wrong, but what did Marcus Smart poured in, 25? So
yeah. Tice dropped 23 or something like that.
Dropped 23. Jason Tatum's shoes were filled. It's not like they had 26 from Jaylen Brown, 19 from Kemba Walker, and the rest of the guys scored 7 points. That's the reason why we won. Other guys produced last night for Boston. But that being said, obviously those guys aren't as good as Jason Tatum, but anytime you can beat Boston, it's a good win, in my opinion.
I agree. Also, Boston better get their money back from Tristan Thompson. I'll tell you that right now, brother. Because they went out and got Tristan Thompson because they couldn't guard a big or Joel Embiid to save their lives. And they thought that was an area of need. And guess what? Better get your money back because he put both of them in 5 fouls. I think Tristan Thompson had, 2 points? So he's not going to contribute offensively. He was, Tristan Thompson was a minus 12, 2 points in 21 minutes, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 fouls, I believe. So that, what was that?
It was 5 fouls, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that was just a slight joke there, but Honest Abe says, LOL, I told y'all Embiid was going to take this personally. He's going to be a Celtic killer all year. I hope so. Marquise, Embiid destroyed that weak Celtics bigs. Yeah, he did.
Oh, dude, I was in the live stream last night.
I didn't know this. What happened?
I was in the live stream last night with Justin and Dives, and I literally just kept typing, I'm better than Daniel Tice at basketball. Daniel Tice can't beat me one-on-one. I was just expressing my anger toward Daniel Tice making jumpers as me just being better than him.
It's so frustrating, bro. And I'm not going to, talk about Daniel Tice on the show a whole lot, except when you get angry. I've never, dude, everyone bitches in the NBA when they get called for a foul. Happens 99% of the time. That man complains every time he gets a foul called on. Dude, I understand he got slapped in the jaw a little bit on the way down to the ground. How are you going to throw your arms up and have your coach challenge that foul call when you clearly rip Embiid down by his arm and shoulder and pull him down with you, and then because you get hit in the face on the way down, you're going to bitch and moan? I've never seen stupidity like it at a high level.
Yeah,
it is unreal.
He is despisable, and you know what's really weird? He reminds me a lot of Birdman. You remember Chris Anderson?
Yeah.
But I loved Birdman. Dude, all those Miami Heat role players during that run were Mike Miller, Shane Battier, Joel Anthony. I loved all those guys. But dude, Daniel Tice and me, we just don't get along.
he don't get it, bro. Come out, Nadir. Come out, because I got some words for you. I know 11 points. I know you throw out your numbers. I got a number for you, buddy. Where are you? Where are you with that arm sleeve he wore last night? The hell out of here with that. All right. So yes, the Sixers are 10-5, first place in the Eastern Conference right now. First team in the East to get to 10 wins. They're 8-1 now at home with another home game against Boston on Friday night.
They're 8-0. That game does not count. That Denver game is not a loss.
Oh yeah, that's very true. 2 differences for me, and I kind of want to break this down as a key plays, takeaways, and player by player thing. But 2 key differences that stuck out to me. Clearly the free throw disparity. Okay, the difference there. Joel Embiid shot 21 free throws. He shot more than the entire Boston Celtics team. I believe they shot 20 and we shot over 40 free throws. That's a huge difference, right? Okay, I get that. Maybe I'm not going to say some calls weren't questionable. They were. Don't foul so much. Don't be a hack.
We fouled us 29 times.
Let's see. The other one. What did we talk about with Jason Blevins? How Brad Stevens and this Boston defense, they're going to throw different looks at Ben and Joel. They're going to double Joe, throw different looks at him on the block, turn us over in the passing lane, stuff like that. The 76ers only had 9 turnovers and turned the Boston Celtics over 16 times last night. That is a huge difference that normally doesn't occur in this rivalry as of late.
Yeah, especially when you come off that last Memphis game, which me and you emphasized. You're not going to win many ball games turning the ball over 22 times. And, I mean, they looked like they made a note of taking care of the ball, which is something that needs to roll over into every game. I was going to say next game, but every game. I mean, your two primary ball handlers turn the ball over 7 times, which it's better than one of them turning it over 7 times, which is what happened in Memphis as well. So last night there was a lot of takeaways. I mean, we're going to get into more, but you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to get to some comments here first so we don't get too far behind.
There you go.
Marquise gets to something we're going to discuss. Marcus Smart, the best flopper, was pissed at Embiid and called him a flopper. What a joke. I love the way he was grilling over something he does consistently in games. Dude, did you see he had like that sad puppy dog look on his face when he didn't pick up his head when he was discussing Joel Embiid in the interview. He was like this. You know, it's hard to win that way.
I really would like to like Marcus Smart.
I would too, because he's a guy that you would love to have on your team.
I hate him, man.
But man, he is annoying. Look, man, can't wait for Isaiah Joe to take Furkan's minutes. I'm not gonna lie, maybe it was just something that Doc, said here. Furkan's first game back, let's give him some run. Let's see how he looks, and if he doesn't look good, maybe things change. I thought it was a little messed up. I thought here he is. I'll get to him. I didn't even read the comment yet.
Dude, he really is. It's like when Undertaker comes in for the WWE.
It's like the gong. Yeah. I thought it was a little messed up, dude. The kid was stroking it well. He's actually playing good defense at an NBA level, and then he doesn't get any run. Steven, say what you want about Ben's offensive games, but the defense completely offsets those issues. His lockdown of Kemba in the second half was elite. It was elite. I don't know if it completely offsets his offensive game, but I agree with you for the most part, Steven. Embiid had close to my prediction of having a 42-point MVP game, though. I was expecting 38, but 4 points is definitely better. Sixers shot 14 free throws in fourth quarter to Celtics 0. That is a huge difference. Huge difference. Ben's clutch defense definitely sealed the deal. It's called a 24-hour defensive lockdown. They didn't want none inside. They're allergic to the weight room. Oh, man. Doc Stevens Brown. Doc will change the Boston owns Philly narrative. That's something we talked about yesterday. We shall see. Nadir. Ferk was out for 3 weeks, and I think he did well in his first game after injury. Props to Ben for that pass. I'm glad you gave 2-5 a little bit of props. As for played well, we'll discuss them. We'll discuss them when we break down the players and grades. Let's see. Steven. Sixers could have the 1-2 defensive player of the year, but some clown will put Gobert in between them.
Gobert just gets automatically put up there.
Let's see. Embiid used what Boston does against them by flopping. Nothing was better. I guess Marcus' last name shouldn't be Smart because he isn't so smart from Marquise. Kevin, who did the Flyers bring out to replace Myers and Frost on the roster? Oh, I don't know. I saw they brought up Sam Moran to their taxi squad. I believe Bunneman will be in to replace Frost. I have not been on Twitter since a little bit before the show, so I don't know there, Kevin, but that would be my guess. Again, before we get into Joel Embiid, any key takeaways from last night's victory that I haven't spoke on?
I just want to touch on it again, and Doc really touched on it last night. I went over to Brock's Twitter to see if he had anything on Ben in the second half guarding Kemba Walker, but Doc literally just talked about how stagnant Ben made the Boston Celtics last night in the half court on defense. And it will go without being said because that's what the haters want, but he just changes the game on the defensive side of the ball so much that it's unbelievable. And then everyone will be, 11 points. Only 11 points. 11, 8, and 8. Mind you, he made 2 very dumb plays in a row, which resulted in fouls 4 and 5.
So he didn't play most of
which kind of took him out of the game, but he played really well last night, in my opinion. And so did a lot of guys. I mean, Tobias Harris played well last night. Shake Milton again played well. Did you see Shake Milton's numbers for the last 6 games?
No, you got them with you?
So the 50-40-90 club.
Yeah. Toby's right there too.
In the last 6 games, Shake Milton shooting 60% from the field, 50 from 3, and 91 from the line. 60, 50, 90. Shake Milton's been unbelievable, and it's awesome to have off your bench.
Yeah, I think Toby is 50-40 and I think he's at like 89.7 from the free throw line. So he's like 0.3 under the 50-40-90 club right now. So you know what? Let's start there again. Let's start with everyone and you and myself. We talk about Ben Simmons a ton on the show. I love Ben Simmons. I think he is the second superstar on this team. However, as of right now, he's playing his role. And in my opinion, Tobias Harris is Joel Embiid's running mate right now. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, those two talked about each other last night. Tobias called Joel the MVP, and Joel called Tobias an all-star. And that isn't them prying themselves away from Ben, which is what a lot of people want it to be. It's, no, you're giving credit to where credit's due, and they're both playing at an elite level. Tobias was a plus 20 last night. That's like amazing. So,
yeah, exactly. He was 22 points, 5 assists, 2 steals. He continues to get better on the defensive end. He got switched on to Jaylen Brown a couple times. I'm sure. Actually, Kai Carlin put out a stat again. Let me see if I can find it really quickly for you guys of Tobias Harris guarding Jaylen Brown, because I was going to talk about what the 2 steals. Okay, here we go. Jaylen Brown, when defended by Tobias Harris, shot 2 of 5 from the floor, 0 of 2 from deep, and had a turnover. So one of the steals came off of Jaylen Brown. Tobias Harris, so he's not only probably averaging 20-plus for majority of the season, he's improved greatly on the defensive side of the floor, which is huge for this team. 5 assists, so he's getting other players involved. He had the nice, when it was almost a turnover to start the fourth quarter, I believe. He got the ball under the basket and kicked it out to Furkan for the corner 3 when we were down by 6. That was big. And like you hit it at it. Plus 20, dude. Team best plus 20 last night against the Boston Celtics. Think about that. Tobias Harris, and I know no Jason Tatum, but those wings give us fits. Kemba gives us fits, do they not? He was a plus 20 when last year he was kind of a liability defensively against those wing players.
Yeah.
It's huge. He's in all-star mode right now.
Yeah, 100%. And I know I didn't really see the beginning, so I'm assuming Grant Williams was his assignment to start the game just because of
I think so.
But you can't underestimate a plus 20. That's especially in a rivalry game where, I mean, you look at Boston starters, minus 12, minus 10, minus 13, minus 1, and then you go over to the other side of the ball, and everyone in Philadelphia starting 5 was a positive. So, I mean, that's all you can ask for out of your starting unit.
Yeah, he has been unbelievable. Definitely an all-star mode, and that's something the long-term success. It's even in the short term, it's great to watch progress night in and night out from Tobias Harris on both sides of the floor. But in the long term, it is so damn important for this team's long-term success this season and trying to make a run at a ring and a championship for this city. Because what did we say? Ben and Joel can get you so far. And Ben's going to have to improve a little bit offensively, just a little bit later in the postseason and all. But Tobias averaging 20-plus, being solid on the defensive side of the ball, 5 assists. I'm not acting like he had 9 or 10 assists, but 5 assists on 22 points. He's getting all the teammates involved.
5 assists is what the stud Bradley Beal averages. So
yeah,
5 assists has to be something, right?
Yeah, man. So let's start. So that's Tobias Harris last night. He was huge last night. I think he was, and you know what it is, Gint? He's not forcing the issue anymore under Doc. He's making those quick decisions as Doc talked about before the season started. But late I think the fourth quarter, he only had 3. He was 3 of 3 from the field for like 9 points or something like that. He wasn't forcing the issue, trying to, get his shots, and he was just running with the flow of the offense, and it worked out down the stretch. They were struggling down 6, and then they went up by 1 or 2, then Boston took a 4-point lead, and then they were down 3. They had to continuously come back in this game, but he's in all-star mode. Let's get to the man that is in MVP mode right now, again. 15 games in. Joel Embiid last night, it was great to see that performance against the Miami Heat's COVID squad, right?
Yeah.
It was 1,000 times better to see it last night. 1,000 times better. 42 points, 10 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block, only 1 turnover. 1 from the big man passing out those double teams. He was a plus 15 in the plus-minus category. Not to mention get 42 points, 19 shots from the field.
See, that's That's the stat that really has to stick out. That's just unbelievable value. And say what you want about the whistle and how many foul calls you got, this and that. Dude, 21 foul shots. Brad Stevens is probably in those refs' ears all night. But what happens, happens. And, dude, 42 points. I can't even get over that. 42 points on 19 shots. If Russell Westbrook were to score 42 points, he would have to take 81 shots.
And I'll tell you, he's getting whatever he wants so far this season on the floor. He's getting – so, let me address the foul calls, right? Because 21 to their 20 as a team is insane. But let's address why this took place, right? In the first half, the Sixers got in the paint. They established Embiid on the block. They were physical, right? They took the fight to Boston. What was Boston doing for most of the first half, Gant? Chucking threes, right? Not penetrating. That sets the tone. So later in the game, you're going to get, you know what I mean? That's kind of how that played out. However, I want to get to Embiid, though, because, what was I going to say? Oh, he's getting wherever he wants. So when the ball is inbounded or coming off a rebound or a steal or whatever, he's getting down the floor. He's no longer sagging behind the play and then having to catch up to the play. He's getting down the floor, establishing himself where he wants to be in the post or wherever. And then it's down. Now let's get into our offensive set, right? So that's A. He's hitting you. He's Euro stepping his way into the lane. He is, pulling up over one or two defenders off the dribble. He's shooting well from three this year, but he's not taking too many. Like if he's not hitting threes early, he's not trying to force them late in the game. He's getting on the block. His conditioning looks great. Passing out of double teams, that cross-court pass to Danny Green late in the fourth quarter was insane last night from the big man.
I think that put them up 4 too. I think that
it was huge.
Yeah.
And my last thing from his game right now, again, he's finishing through so much contact. Like how many N1s did he have last night off of like pull-up jumpers or driving to the lane and finishing? It's 100%. Not just drawing contact and getting 2 free throws. It's bucket, let me sink my free throw.
Yeah. Another thing to mention, too, about the foul shots, 21 attempts. Dude, there was 2 plays in a row last night where he probably should have shot 4 more free throws. And I remember it was a 1-point game. He went to that, dude, he like put it up pretty much backwards because of how bad Daniel Tice fouled him. So, sorry, this is all a comment. I get it. But yeah, dude, I mean, Joel Embiid has been everything we've wanted. He's definitely an MVP candidate right now. He's a defensive player candidate right now. So, that was awesome. And then we need it again.
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to get the
copy and paste.
I don't know if you're going to get the calls. The whistles might be a little silent after Marcus Smart and Brad Stevens talk to the referee.
Marcus Smart has a lot of audacity to just start calling people out for flopping.
Especially when, dude, he really wasn't flopping for the most part. Maybe one time I watched him like flop a little bit. It's, dude, especially if they're talking about the play with Tice when he smacked Tice in the face on the way down, they're fighting for position and Tice reaches around, grabs Joe up here and brings him down with him. Dude, what are you watching that you think like that should be offensive? Yeah. I have no idea. Go ahead.
No, I thought about Daniel Tice again and I just had to read him. I hate him.
So we are, we said it after the Miami Heat overtime performance when he put the team on his back, and it was nice to see him. We started the Daily Dose, Joel Embiid for MVP campaign, but it's even more so in effect now. 15 games in, it's still early into the campaign, but he did it against a rival, against a really good team, against a contender in the East, and I know they didn't have Jason Tatum, but obviously Jason Tatum ain't going to be guarding Joel Embiid, so it's huge to see. Marquise, I love the intensity in this comment. I would slow down a little bit. You know how I feel about the Nets too. I tweeted it last night, but he says, "Oh yeah," and I have another takeaway after last night, which is the Nets ain't going anywhere or making any kind of noise by standing pat with the roster they already have. Nets defense sucks. Look, the defense does suck. I'm not going to say the Nets aren't going anywhere or make any noise. When I comment about this Brooklyn team and everything like that, I laugh at the people that, oh no, just pack it in. The Sixers team isn't good enough to compete with them. The Nets are going to the finals, blah, blah, blah. In the 3 games since James Harden's been a Netkin, they barely beat the Orlando Magic. They had a good fight against the Milwaukee Bucks. And then Kyrie Irving comes back last night and they lose in double overtime by almost, if not double digits, to Colin Sexton and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And why is that, Gin? Hey, Marquise is spot on. Their defense sucks. They lack depth. Their center position after trading away Jared Allen is awful because DeAndre Jordan can't do anything offensively or defensively anymore. They played a little bit with Kevin Durant at the 5 last night. But the other thing, Gin, did you check out the box score?
Not really. No, I know Sexton had 42 points.
No, I'm talking about the Knicks. I mean the Nets.
No, not really. Why?
Okay. So Kyrie Irving comes back, right?
Yeah.
How many shots? Do you know how many shots he took?
No, how many?
28. You know how many shots James Harden took?
How many?
14.
I mean, those guys are gonna have to figure it out. It's gonna be. I mean, they didn't get.
But are they going to figure it out? Kevin Durant and James Harden can figure it out. That's been shown.
You
Can that dude? Can he figure? I'm not saying they won't. I'm saying it's not unrealistic to think that with him on the floor with them, they won't figure it out.
No, yeah, I don't think it's unrealistic, but it's also unrealistic to say that it's definitely not going to happen.
No, I didn't say that.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just counterpointing to your point.
It was interesting to see last night.
I know.
And down the stretch, late in the fourth, in the first overtime, they had chances to win. Guess who wouldn't pass the ball?
No. Well, the thing is, he did. The craziest thing was tie game when regulation was going down.
The foul.
Jeff Green drills the 3 to put them ahead. I was like, everyone's sitting here talking about who's going to take the last shot. Kyrie, Durant, Harden. Who's going to take it? Jeff Green drills the 3 to put them up. But the thing with Brooklyn is, what I don't understand was Kyrie left Cleveland because he didn't want to be LeBron's Robin, quote unquote. Who is he now? Who's the third person in the Batman movies? I wouldn't know. I never seen them.
He's Catwoman.
Dude, I mean, they're going to be a process. They didn't get those 3 guys together to worry about regular season. They're going to get in. It's just going to come down.
I'm aware. I'm just saying, dude, could you imagine if the 76ers lost at full strength to the Cleveland Cavaliers? We already lost in Cleveland, but we lost in Cleveland with no Joel Embiid. Could you? And you saw the reaction. Those 3 superstars just got worked by Colin Sexton. And what is it? CD Osman or whatever? He had like 25. Okay? They got worked. So
Cleveland scored 20 points in the last overtime.
God, Sexton went off, bro. They got up by like 13 or if not more late in the overtime period. Like it was over.
Yeah, well,
and here's the thing, and I want to get off them quick. I want to get back to the Sixers and the players and our takeaways from last night's game. Because what time is it? It's already. Oh my God, it's 5:08.
Yeah.
What time do you gotta get off?
Normal time, like 5:20.
Okay, let's get back to the Sixers. Jesus Christ, this got away from me. So we talked about Embiid and Tobias Harris. One other takeaway again, and I love the kid. Last night was the first game this season that Tyrese Maxey looked like a rookie.
Yeah, and the
no, and I'm not busting on him. I'm just saying he looked like a rookie.
But I think a lot of people don't think that's like Tyrese Maxey didn't play well. Oh, yeah. This isn't who we thought he was. No, first of all, no one's going to look good every night, let alone what is he, 19 years old?
So he looked like a rookie. Shake off the bench gave you 16 on, I think, 4 of 10 shooting. I think he's 2 of 2 from 3. Shake offensively has been phenomenal. Stepped up his defensive game last night. He was a -2. Everyone was a plus. 2 guys were a minus. Shake was a -2. What did you think of Shake's game last night? Because the one area that Shake still bothers me is when he's running the offense. He came down as point, and Doc took him off point quickly. He came down as point and picked up his dribble and then tried to throw a little pass right by half court to Danny Green or Toby or someone, pluck the other way, dunker layup down the other end real quick.
Oh, yeah,
and then the 2-on-1 fast break when he gets the ball and he double clutches in the air and that's late in the game, dude. That can't happen late in the game. Not against a good team like Boston.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Shake still played well last night to a T. I mean, shot 4 of 10, 6 or 6 from the line with 16 points. I don't know what people expect him really to average off the bench at this point, but you're not going to get 30.
I think that's it. No. I think 16 is the mark. I've been saying 16 to 18 is the mark.
And that's a really good mark to have for your first guy off the bench.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sorry to bring this up again. That alley-oop was abysmal. Tobias Harris looked at him and probably was like, "Dude,
can you just give me the ball?
Don't throw an oop to me ever again." But yeah, I mean, dude, Shake looked good last night. Shake was the only player off the bench that necessarily looked good. Dwight Howard looked all right, but
Dwight Howard tried to throw up a right jump hook late in the game, and I wanted to rip my hair out. That thing clanked off the front of the rim, dude. He should know if he's on the floor in the fourth quarter or like in a close game or whatever. Exactly, bro. Exactly.
Don't shoot it.
Dunk it or you dish that rock, dude. Because you are not putting up Did you see his one like layup? It wasn't like a clear layup.
It was like backwards, right?
Dude, he threw it so far and hard off the glass. I've never seen anything. And then, dude, the Celtics just took it right the other way because of how hard he threw it.
It was like an outlet pass, basically.
Off the glass. Danny Green, 12 points, doesn't scream a lot, but 4 of 8 from 3, 50% from 3. He continues to get better.
Exactly. Last night.
Plus team, second on the team behind Toby, and plus minus is a plus 17. 6 boards, 1 offensive, and the offensive rebound came late in the fourth quarter for an outlet to Shake, who drove and got fouled and got to the line. That is Danny Green did that against the Heat game when he had a couple offensive rebounds late for the Isaiah Joe and the Dakota Mathias threes, and he did it again last night. That's been a huge thing. Let's see, before we get to 2-5 to wrap up our show, we also have to give our predictions for the Flyers. Furkan Korkmaz, Nadir, if you're still listening, here's where I'll get to your boy. So he hit a 3. It was a nice 3 to start the fourth quarter. From the outlet to Toby, he's 1 of 3 from 3. Okay. 7 points. Reverse dunk from the feed from Ben. I didn't know Furk had that in his bag. I did not know he had that in his bag. Okay.
He almost got killed. That dude literally went underneath his legs when he dunked it.
But and not there, you could say whatever, people can argue, it was first game back in 3 weeks. Great. The entire team in the plus minus category, every player had a plus except for 2. Shake Milton, who I spoke of already, was a -2. Furkan Korkmaz was a -9 in 20 minutes of play, and he scored 7. Matisse Thybulle and Tyrese Maxey didn't score a point, and they were both a +2. Furk scored 7 and was a -9 in 20 minutes. Dude, that is hard to do. So do you get why I'm not the biggest fan of him? Like, do you get it? And he shot 1 of 3 from 3. But, dude, a reverse dunk and a 3 for that defense, it's not going to do it. A -9? And you can't say, it's because of who he was out there with. The rest of the team was a plus. So it was solely you. Like, you clearly had an impact on your plus minus. That's why he bothers me. The games, don't get me wrong, and I know he later in the season, he's going to have games where he hits 5 or 6 threes, right? Yeah, I know. He's going to score like 20, 22. He's going to hit 5 or 6 threes, and I'm going to come on the show, good game, and then I'm going to get all this overreaction from the people that love him, right? He's going to have those games. But what is he? He is what he is last night. And I'm sorry. It was against Boston with no Tatum. And Tatum or Brown are probably one of his assignments when he has to play. And he was a -9. And he scored 7. So what they were outscored by what? 16?
Dude, Boston is literally probably his worst matchup. Actually, Brooklyn might be a little worse for him. But, dude, because, dude, you just look at Kemba, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum are going to be your 1 through 3, maybe Tatum at the 4 sometimes. And then, dude, Brooklyn, Kyrie, Harden, Joe Harris, Kevin Durant, everyone, dude. Dude, Furkan can play against
Can't play against Milwaukee either.
He can play against Detroit when we play them.
Dude, he's going to have those nights. Clearly he is when he catches hot from beyond the arc. But, dude, when the entire team is cooking and they're all a high plus, Shake's the only one in a minus with a -2, and then bang, -9 next to his name.
Bang.
Dude, that's awful. Like, that's in 20 minutes. In 20 freaking minutes. That's why I say he's unplayable against those teams. He is, and he won't see much run in the playoffs. And as the comment said earlier, I feel bad for Isaiah Joe. I feel bad for him. Doc plays him Nadir because he brings an element to the team, especially with Seth Curry out, for spacing and shooting. But my point is, he gets killed on the other end. It's not a coincidence that he's the only one that was a -9. Dibe says, I think he's on a short leash. I think he is. If he has a few more of those games, then Isaiah Joe is finding his way permanently into the rotation. We hire you to, I don't know what that means. Hire me as a coach? Hire
me and you as the GMs.
Yeah, maybe. He damn sure wouldn't be on my ball club. I'll tell you that right now.
he ain't on your franchise.
All right. So, couple minutes left. Ben Simmons, 11, 8, 8, 2 steals, +2, 7 of 10 from the free throw line, had a clutch steal down the end, went up and got the rebound down the end, wasn't afraid to go to the line, sinks them. Look, only 11 points. Down later in the season, going to have to be better than that. But he was fine last night. He was fine. He got into foul trouble. He didn't play most of the fourth. He didn't play, I forget how much of the third he played, Gint. There's things he has to work on. I've said it yesterday. He needs to finish around the rim better. That's the one area that I want it more than a 3, more than the mid-range jumper. He has to be more efficient around the rim and finish better. He's shooting better from the free throw line, and he has to just be smarter sometimes. Like a lot of dudes in this league can go from full gear to from fifth gear to stop on a dime. Ben, for some reasons, just runs the hell into people. And that has to stop.
That charge wasn't a charge, also to mention, but
yes,
you can't. The punch in the dude. He didn't obviously punch him in the face.
Yeah.
But the little spin move where he whacked him, that was going to get called, especially when you play the Boston Celtics. And every time you get touched, it's So, but I mean, dude, 11, 8, and 8, 2 steals, and Doc only attested to last night in the fourth quarter when he re-entered. He had a steal. This is from Brock's tweet, by the way. A steal, a block on Kemba, and then a huge board end to seal it. It's more than the box score, what he brings to the table. He made Kemba Walker's life miserable in the fourth quarter last night.
And Kemba was cooking in the first half, mind you.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up tonight, I completely lost track of time here. Flyers take on the Bruins tonight, and then they take them on again Saturday in Boston. The Sixers are tomorrow at home against Boston, and then I believe in Detroit. Both the Flyers and Sixers play Saturday night, both at 7:00, so that'll be fun. But tonight, 3-1, first place in the East. Philadelphia Flyers travel to Boston. I believe Halak's getting the start for the Bruins versus Carter Hart for us. Last year in 4 games against the Boston Bruins, Carter Hart was 3-1, allowing 2 goals on 28 shots, 2 goals on 29 shots, 5 on 31. Bad game, but they won that game actually. And then in the round robin in the postseason, 1 goal allowed on 35 shots against the Boston Bruins. They're still missing Pasternak. So I'm hopeful for this one. Again, it's going to be hard to take both from Boston. So I would like to take the one tonight. So I'm going to go Flyers win 3-2. It's going to be a tough game down to the end, sitting on the edge of your seat, hoping for a stop and for that time to run out. And I'm going to say James Van Riemsdyk gets a goal tonight. Go ahead. Nadir, he had 3 turnovers.
It's not a bad game. He handled the ball how many percentage of the game. For the Flyers, I'm going to go – you said 3-1?
3-2.
I'm going to go 4-2.
4-2? Who scores? Who's your star of the game?
You know who.
It hasn't happened yet. Say it. It's
got to happen, right?
Tell him who's getting on the board.
Claude Giroux.
My captain's getting on the board tonight, he says.
He's going to do it eventually, so I look somewhat right about something in sport hockey.
All right, guys. So the Eagles get their guy in Nick Sirianni. So let's hope that works out. The Eagles, sorry. The Sixers and the Flyers currently sit at first place in the Eastern Conference in the NBA and NHL. So it's a fun time for these two teams who are looking like contenders early in the season. Flyers in Boston tonight, Sixers at home against Boston tomorrow. Have a nice night.